So in the last lesson, I promised that we're going to go over what this button is. So let's do exactly that. You'll notice that sometimes you get this red plus button here, and you'll also notice that it usually comes in parallel with this error down here. And what this is this is InDesign telling you that something isn't right. You've cut something off. There is something that it thinks you should have put in there that you accidentally deleted. And it has this system because, again, you might be working on a 50 or 60 page document and you won't realize that maybe an edit that you made on page 1, if everything is linked, might be causing an error on page 57. So it's going to try to tell you, hey, look, there's an error right here. And the way that we see that is if we go up to Window and then we go to Output and we go to Preflight. This is all called Preflighting. And basically what this means is that before you send it off, pre-flight, you are going to try to fix the errors. So if you actually open up the Preflight tab right here, you'll notice that it's going to display all the errors on your document. And it's displayed in a very simple and easy to read manner. So you'll see that since I have this error right here, it's telling me I have one error. And then so you go in here and you're like, oh, it's a text error. And then it tells you what type of text error it is. It's overset text error, which means text is longer or bigger than the text box. So we can go down here, and then it's going to show you the text frame that it's actually being activated on. And you'll see that it's in page 1, and if we double click it, it's going to actually bring us right to that error so that we can fix it. So always having this tab open and checking it constantly will help you tackle, errors as they come up. So we see here that we have an overset text problem. And so what does overset text, how is it affecting us? How do we fix this problem? So you see the problem was in the last tutorial, in the last lecture, I grabbed this and I dragged it up. And the problem is that there's still text down here. If we drag it back down, you'll see that it resolves the error, but now we have all this text running into each other. So that isn't a very good resolution to this problem. So let's go back again to here. So one of the things you can do is shrink down the text. So maybe you actually do want that text here. We can click on it and we could shrink the text down like so, and now it all fits in there. But maybe we just didn't want that text on the bottom. I mean, this is placeholder text. We don't want the text beneath there. We just wanted how we set it up. We just want the text box to be smaller now instead of larger. So what we can do is if we don't really like that stuff on the bottom, we can actually click this button right here. And what this is going to do is, like the image, it loads our cursor with that text. So now you'll see that this goes away because it's no longer in here. It basically went in, and everything that was cut off, it did a computer cut. So instead of a copy or paste, it did a cut where it goes in there, it throws it onto the clipboard here, and then it removes it from that document. A lot of times you can actually use this to link and flow text from one to the next, and we're going to be talking about flowing text in just a little while, probably the next lecture. But in this situation, we don't need the bottom. So what you can do is actually just click off screen over here, and you see it's going to put the text over here, like so. And now that the text is over here, let's go ahead and click on it, and then click the delete key. And you'll notice that InDesign is smarter than we give it credit for. It understood that that text was linked into a new text box, and then the text box was deleted. So the text is no longer accounted for, and therefore it defaults back over here saying, hey, you still lost some text. It's trying to save us here. It's trying to say that you originally put some text in here and it was removed without your permission, per se. So what you can do instead is you need to explicitly delete that text. So you could expand this and delete it itself, or we could kind of do a little hack here. And we could do the exact same thing where we click on this, click the plus button, and bring it over here. But instead of deleting the text box right away, all we're going to do is just go in here, hit Control A to highlight everything in there, and that's going to be a problem because it's linked backwards. So instead of hitting Control A, we'll actually just go like that. We'll highlight it all, click the delete key, and now we can delete this text box. And now you'll notice that the plus is no longer there. Again, this sounds a little tedious, a little bit of why would they do this? And it's all because it's trying to save you. Because a lot of times, text is really important and it'll come from a third party like a Word document or something like that. And so we don't want to have to, be nitpicking through here and then publish something, print it, make it final, and then understand that we lost a lot of good text near the center, page 28, because a lot of times, we don't want to read every single page to make sure all the text is there. So it's trying to save you in that aspect, and that's why it's really important to have the pre-flight tab open, at least open over here, and then to keep your eye on the errors down here, just to make sure that you're always addressing and fixing those errors as you go, so you don't get to the very end of your document, it's got 48 errors, and you have to go basically redesign everything. So that's pre-flighting, important error checking, so that you can keep going and making sure that whatever you are creating, you aren't accidentally destroying something in the process.